everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Three-Way Fit if you're watching this video on our app, Three-Way Fit, where we teach you how to be fit three ways: in your physical health, in your relationships, and in your finances. If you're watching this on YouTube and you like what you hear, please click the subscribe button and click the bell if you want to get future notifications. So, my name is Melissa Daggett. I am a certified life coach, financial advisor, and most of all, lover of great relationships. So in this video, we're going to talk about the category of relational fitness, relationships. And the topic is 3 things that women need from men, or 3 things that a woman needs from her man, more specifically. And I will have part 2 of this. We'll keep it even and we'll keep it fair playing ground. The part 2 of this series is going to be, you guessed it, 3 things a man needs from his woman. So I've been researching this for the past, couple of decades, and I've read lots of books on the subject, and I tried to just narrow it down. None of us, I don't want to say that there's no exceptions to these, but the top 3 across the board are the ones I'm going to discuss. And there's many things that fall in these broad categories. So the top 3 needs are going to be broad, and then I'm going to talk about specific ways that you can meet those needs. Having said that, everybody's different and everybody needs different things. So these are just general things that, men really need from their woman and that women really need from their man when I talk about these. And then it's up to you to really communicate more specifically where your needs fall with your partner, because that's one of the top 3 C's of a great relationship is great communication. And I talk about that in one of my other videos, so you'll have to check that out, because any problem you have, the top 3 areas of relationship failure across the board were finances, infidelity, and lack of good communication. So that's why we try to address these things in our app and in everything we do. We're always trying to help you have better relationships, how to make the ones you have even better. And if you're single, how you can learn about this and start, becoming that person that you want to find. So let's get down to it. We're going to dive right in. 3 things a woman needs from her man. So I'm going to phrase this in the form of a question. There's questions that women are really asking, but they're not really asking. And I know you guys, a lot of times you say you can't read between the lines, but if you would try to observe and study your woman, you will see her asking this question or these questions through her behavior a lot. And they are, do you see me? Do you really see me? Not every woman is an attention seeker. So it doesn't matter though if she's introvert, extrovert, we all vary in our needs for attention. So it's more about understanding her, understanding your woman that you're with, and if you really see her. So this is an important thing, because a woman's need, and I wonder if you can guess what this need is related to. If a woman is asking the question through her behavior, and maybe, she's not going to come out and say, do you see me? But she's dressing maybe so that you see her. She's acting in a way so that you see her. But more importantly, when she's trying to choose a partner or a man, she knows the difference between somebody who's just using her and somebody who really sees her, who sees her worth, who sees her true beauty, not just her physical beauty, by the way, but who sees deeper than that, who sees beyond that, who sees her heart, who sees her unique beauty. So every woman wants to be seen for who she is, for her rare and unique beauty, because every woman is different. And if you can learn to study your woman in that way, where you're not just after the physical, and I know you men, that's important, but I'm talking about going beneath the surface. A closely related question to that, another synonym, I guess, for do you see me, another synonymous question would be, do you love me? Do you love what you see? So I remember hearing things from men I wasn't even dating where I felt like they got me, because they would make comments, not about my physical appearance necessarily, but about my aura, about my essence, about, oh, you're like this. Or I remember one said, oh, I thought you were like this when I first met you, and you're just like really ferocious and you're this, but then I saw this other side of you that's really sweet and it's this, and I thought, wow, that's a man who's paying attention. And it made me feel so good because he wasn't hitting on me in that moment. And it wasn't talking about my physical attributes. He was talking about my essence, who I was. And he was noticing things and appreciating them. So for a woman, one of the greatest needs is to be seen. Okay? Do you see me? Do you love me? Do you cherish me? Because what happens, you get the woman and you stop looking at her and you stop noticing and you think you've already got her figured out, and what do? You start taking her for granted. You know, there are so many facets to a woman. I remember my husband said something and it was one of the highest compliments he could have paid me. Even though he was just halfway joking, it just meant so much to me because I feel like he didn't take me for granted. I was a lucky one. I was married for 21 years. You know, I lost him early, but he was somebody who studied me, and he said, you know, you eliminate my need to date all sorts of different kinds of women. And we just both started busting out laughing, you know, because how true is that? So many men, you know, their ultimate dream is to have all these different kinds of women, you know. But he was making a joke, but he was also giving me a compliment at the same time, saying that I was multifaceted. And every woman is, if you look for it. They don't have to be an extrovert to be that. Every woman has so many different parts of her. Some of them are more mysterious, some are more introverted, some don't come out all at once. But that's what you guys really need to do if you want to win her heart and her body, by the way, because it's related for a woman. And we'll talk about that in a minute, or especially in the man video, what a man needs from a woman, and how you can really unlock the keys to better sex life through understanding this. Okay, number 2, a woman's need, all women need this. It could be different priorities for different women, but all women need security. Okay, they need to have different types of security too. Some women for sure are financially independent, so I'm not just talking about financial security. Most women, whether they're financially independent, financially secure or not, want a guy who takes care of his business, right? They want a responsible man. But I'm not talking about that here. I'm talking about security in the relationship. You make her feel like you are trustworthy. Emotional security, you're someone she can count on. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. You're a man of your word. You're a man of quality. You're a man of high character. Okay, even though some of these chicks will be attracted to players because of their looks at first, it's the same for men. You be attracted to somebody who's hot or who's beautiful, and she'll be attracted to somebody who's handsome or hot. But the minute she sees there's a big character flaw and she can't trust him, that's all gone. That's like, no, okay? That'll only get you so far. You have to have something more to offer. You have to be multidimensional too. You have to be a man of character if you want to win a queen. Now, if you don't, you know, there's a lot of people out there playing games and immature, and they're still little boys and little girls, and they're not, you know, they're not grown men yet. And that's another story. We're talking about quality people looking for a quality relationship, you know, people who are mature and looking, you know, for someone that they can build something real with. So if you can learn that that is a top priority, and keep working on yourself until you're ready. So if you're someone who's not trustworthy, that doesn't mean you can't change. It's just you need to be aware and start changing. I know some people think, you know, once a player, always a player. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Yeah, if there's a pattern of behavior and it's over and over again, maybe so. It's very difficult for people to change. But I'm saying if you're just immature, or you're not quite trustworthy yet, or maybe you've done one or two things that you're not proud of, I believe people can change, because that's just your behavior. It may not necessarily be who you are. You may just be immature. So if you're single and watching this, really work on being someone who, you know, is trustworthy. If you want to win a quality woman, and more importantly, keep a quality woman, be someone who, you know, and if you're in a relationship already, be aware that you may think you're providing her security, but your behavior, your speech, and your actions are very important, okay? Let me give you some examples of a way. Let's just turn this question around. What are some ways that she might feel insecure, that you might cause insecurity? And when I say you might cause, I'm not talking about if somebody's already insecure within themselves. That's their work to do. I'm talking about if you have actions or words or behaviors that are triggering insecurity. Okay, you need to be protecting her. If someone else is talking bad about her, that's loyalty, that's honor. So if someone is bad mouthing your woman, you should not stand for that. I don't care if they're a friend of yours, I don't care who they are. Loyalty should be paramount. You should defend her, you should honor her, you should be her hero, her champion. All of these things cause security. So if you're doing the opposite, if you're sort of like wishy-washy and passive, and you don't defend her when others don't treat her well, you don't fight for her, you don't fight for the relationship, but you just throw her breadcrumbs, you just give her the least amount of investment to keep her on the hook with you, you're causing massive trauma and insecurity. And actually, if she's a quality woman or a queen, she's going to walk. Okay? And if she's not walking, someone needs to wake her up and tell her, she's showing you how to treat her by putting up with that. So if you're a real man, I'm sorry, this is straight talk here. You're going to protect your woman. You're going to protect your queen. You're going to defend her. You're going to honor her. You're not going to be perfect, but you're going to have her back. And she's going to be secure, and it's going to show. She's going to be emotionally secure with you. Financial security is a whole other issue, and you can go to our financial section for that, where I talk all about that. And that's something couples will always have to work on together, and how to navigate those waters, because that's another thing that's really important for couples to talk about. But here I'm talking about emotional security, okay? Don't take her for granted. Don't mistreat her. Don't be passive. Don't ignore her. If you're not paying attention to her, someone else will. And I'm not talking about a needy person. I'm talking about an adequate amount of prioritizing the relationship, investing in the relationship, and treating her like the queen she is, okay? Treat her like a princess, like you do if you have a little girl, right? Like, oh, there's nothing you wouldn't do for her. We'll talk about children in a minute, and how you should not neglect your partner once children come into the relationship. You should parent as a team, and what your children want most from you is for you to have a great relationship. Well, but that's a whole nother video. Okay, let's go on to number 3. Can you guys guess what it is? I'll give you a fill in the blank and see if you can guess. Sex is to men what blank is to women. Sex is to men what blank is to women. Well, if you said romance, you guessed it. Now, I'm not saying every woman is all romantic, and there are different degrees of that, but when I say romance, I mean don't be boring, okay? It doesn't, different ones of us, I'm a total romantic, so I love the trips, I love the chocolate, I love the wine, I'm everything romantic, but I realize not everybody is, so when I say romance, I mean don't get stuck in a rut in your relationship. Keep it fresh, keep it alive, keep it exciting, and this goes for both parties, really, but I'm also talking about something deeper here than just, trips and romantic outings and, dates and things you do. I'm talking about learning how to make love to her mind and to her soul. If you learn how to do that, I promise you, your sex is going to go to a whole new level, because for women, that is all tied together. So if you're having trouble in that area, you might want to study this. It's very similar to studying her like step 1, except here, you're really listening to her. So if you said listening to her is one of a woman's greatest needs, you are correct. And this has to do with romancing her, because when you listen to her and you study her and you get to know her mind, that's romancing her. When you pay attention and then you do something that is something she would love. So both partners should always be working on themselves. If you're bored with the relationship, you're probably bored with yourself. And we should always be working on ourselves. But also, I want to recommend a book here, and I've recommended it before. It's called The 5 Love Languages. It's a bestseller. Everyone talks about it, right? But I've seen it save marriages, so I will keep talking about it. It's by Gary Chapman. And even if you've already read it, maybe look at it in a fresh way, or at least do an accountability list. It's kind of like knowing what to do, but are you doing it? So if you already have read the book and you know your partner's love language, are you practicing it? I would suggest actually practicing all 5 love languages, just because. Think about this. Let me ask you a question. If you try to outdo each other in love, do you think you're going to have a great relationship? That's my challenge for you. I challenge you to try to outdo each other in love. So if you've read the book and you know your partner's love language, focus mostly on, usually everybody has a primary and secondary love language. Focus mostly on those, because there's some that of the love languages don't matter as much to your partner. But if you don't know, read the book and just start practicing all 5. So what are the 5 love languages? They are physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gift giving. Let me say those again, and I'm going to have them on the screen. The 5 love languages are words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, gift giving, and quality time. So, little simple ways, and I have worksheets and stuff if you're in the app that you can look at for some more ideas on this. But, men, compliment your woman, and don't do it in a patronizing way. Make it be genuine and sincere. Study her and tell her something you truly appreciate about her. Every day, at least 1 or 2 things, okay? Just start being a positive vibe. Start loving her with your words. Next, physical touch. Even if it's not her love language, I'm not talking about sex here. I'm talking about holding her hand while you're sitting, talking, just reaching over and taking her hand. Just little gentle touches and caresses. That can mean so much. Even if it's not somebody's main love language, just flirt with her a little, touch her. The next one is gift giving. Don't be such a tightwad. Don't be always just caught up in your own little routine and agenda. Think of her before you come home and bring some flowers home, maybe once a month. It doesn't have to be flowers, though. It can be little things. Maybe you just say, hey, honey, I'll swing by the store on my way home from work. Do you need anything? And bring her favorite whatever. Okay? And that can also be an act of service, by the way. That's not just a gift, but you buy something on your way home that you think she'd appreciate. Right? But acts of service, do the dishes, pitch in, help around the house, give her a day off. I don't know. Give her a day off to just get pampered. And quality time, and that's my main love language. The woman who really is a good communicator and cares about that in relationships, and most women do care about that, but if this is their love language, it's paramount that you do it. And if you're a man who your main love language is acts of service, and you're always busy, and you're always multitasking, and you're always about your business, and you never slow down, and you never focus on her, there will be the death of that relationship soon if that's her love language, I can tell you, because that's how she feels loved. So you need to remember, because I understand this, trust me. My husband was an acts of service guy, and it was hard for him to spend quality time with me until he realized it was my love language. And because he loved me, he changed his behavior and actions. What he did and what I said that really triggered it was the word he liked was productive. I have to be productive. I have to get things done, right? He loved to be productive. And while I appreciated that about him, I said, honey, sometimes I just want you to sit down and be with me. Just want you to listen to me, right? So if you're hearing that a lot, your mate's love language, and it could be the guy, is quality time. So the key thing to remember, if that's hard for you, is sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to be still and listen. Okay? It doesn't have to be quantity time, like tons of time every day, but it has to be quality, focused time, meaning at the end of the day, you put your work away. You focus on her. You put away the phone. You listen to her. It can just be 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be long, but it needs to be quality and focused. And you should also plan a date together once a week and just have time where you are prioritizing time for the relationship. If you don't, one day you may wake up and find that, all the things you had to do weren't near as important as that, and you lost the most important thing to you. So really make an effort, guys, here. Get the Love Languages book. Try to do just a few things, not 1,000 things. Just take a few of these challenges. I only gave you 3. So start working on them and see if you can outdo each other in love. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and go to my website for more content. I've got a podcast, everything else, melissadaggett.com. If you're at the 3-Way Fit app, go ahead and watch the next video, which is going to be for the men, and this will be on YouTube as well. 3 things a man needs from his woman. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.